What's up, everybody? This is Colby Wood with the Medical Sales Certification Podcast. And in this episode, what I wanted to do is share an experience that I just had. I was interviewing a kid for a sales associate role. And then I want to kind of share that experience with you and then transition into what the Medical Sales Certification Program actually is and what it is that we're building. So if you have any questions about that, hopefully this will clear it up for you. But I was interviewing this kid today, and I call him a kid. He's 24. He's been working for about 2 years in sales, in an inside sales role, primarily on the phones. And he wants to get into medical sales. And this is what I would say is the classic example of somebody that wants to get into medical sales, knows that they want to be in medical sales for whatever reason, whether they think that it's interesting, cool, they want to sell products that they think are great, and you want to be a consultant, you want to make good money, like whatever it is. Though there's a lot of those people out there, and he's got 2 years of sales experience, so that's good. Doesn't mean that he's going to be great in what we do, but at a minimum, he's got experience there. But the flip side of it is he doesn't have or didn't have any medical experience at all, right? He doesn't know anatomy, he doesn't know physiology, he doesn't know procedures. Doesn't know what the rotator cuff is, doesn't know what the ACL is. And, that's not really his fault. He didn't have the training up to this point. But I tell you that only because, and I told him this in the interview, and, he would tell you the same thing. When I was interviewing, I'm like, one of the things he asked me is, what can I do between now and our next, the next stage of the interview process to begin preparing and learning and getting better? And I just think that there are a lot of people out there, young people out there especially, who have the drive, who have the desire and the determination and want to do what we do, want to get into medical sales, but there's really no resources for people to learn those things that they need to learn. And I told them, I'm on flat out, if, whether you get the job with us or with anybody else, what I would tell you is start with anatomy. Bones, ligaments, and tendons for what we do, right? We're in orthopedics, and there may be another, it doesn't have to be orthopedics. If you want to do something else, you want to do spine, you want to do neuro, you want to do whatever it is, learn the anatomy of the products that you're going to be selling. Because the biggest, most painful thing for a company hiring a new rep is the time it takes to onboard them. Like, it takes a while for people to learn the anatomy and the procedures. I've got a friend of mine runs an orthopedic medical device distributorship in Northern California. And I was on the phone with him a few weeks back, and he was telling me that when he got into medical sales, he had 2 years, roughly, a couple years of sales experience. So similar to the kid that I was talking to today, a couple years of sales experience, but no medical background. And so he didn't know anatomy, didn't know procedures, didn't know operating room, didn't know healthcare, anything like that. But he had the drive and the determination to be able to do it. And clearly, he's been somebody that's driven, that's motivated. I mean, he's running a distributorship now, so he's been successful. And he told me it took him 18 months before he felt he knew his shit on the medical side of things, on the procedures, on the products in surgery. 18 months, a year and a half for somebody that's super motivated. And so from when I stand back and look at this from our perspective now, obviously that, we hire new reps, it's what is the least amount of risk that I'm going to take when bringing this person on, right? So first and foremost, we got to make sure that they're the right person for the job, that they're going to be driven and motivated, that when I'm not standing over their shoulder watching what they're doing, they're going to be doing the things that we need to do and that they need to do to be successful, right? We've got to have that fundamentally. But after that, the way you differentiate yourself is by knowing those things ahead of time. You're not going to come in there as a totally blank slate and you don't even know what a bone, a ligament, or a tendon is. And so what resources do people like that have? There's not a whole lot out there. I mean, there are a couple. The only one that I really know of is Medical Sales College. And, I think it's a good program from what I understand. But, people like that, he's working a job. He's not going to go spend $12,000 to $14,000 and fly to Colorado to go learn medical sales there for, 8 to 12 weeks. But if he's got somebody or some place that he can go to and learn the anatomy, the procedures, the physiology, he becomes a really enticing and good candidate for a medical sales job. And so that is kind of the prototypical individual that we're looking to be a resource for. And I get questions all the time on how do you get into medical sales without sales experience or medical experience. That's the perfect example. What does somebody like that do that has sales experience but needs to learn the other side of the business, right? Because, and I told him in the interview today, I'm like, if you walked in here and you're like, I understand I haven't been in an operating room and I haven't sold these products to orthopedic surgeons. I get that. But I've put in the time and I can tell you the 4 rotator cuff tendons, the supraspinatus, the infraspinatus, the teres minor, and the subscapularis. I can tell you what they do. I can tell you what their function is. I can tell you what the ACL does. It resists anterior translation of the tibia relative to the femur. Like, if somebody like that is walking into an interview with an orthopedic medical device company and they don't have medical experience, but they can tell you all that stuff, if you're sitting across the desk from them, like I was today, you'd be like, damn, that kid's put in the work. Like, he is immediately reducing the risk that I have when hiring him. And he's giving me confidence that he's going to do the things he needs to do when I'm not looking. Like, if he's put in the effort ahead of time to do those things, to learn that stuff, like, I have more confidence in him that he's going to be able to do those things when I'm not watching. And so that's what we are essentially building. At the medicalsalescertificationprogram.com, we have 2 courses up there right now. Right now, it's just Sales Fundamentals, and it's Complete Shoulder Anatomy and Procedures course. And they're not totally complete. I'm building those out currently. But we're going to have an ACL course, a knee course. We're going to have a hip course. We're going to have a hand and wrist and a foot and ankle course. And we're going to have different courses for the sales side of things, handling objections, sales process, all the things that are necessary for people that don't have the experience, but they do have the drive and the motivation and the desire to do it and learn it. And candidly, if they're willing to put in the work on their own time, that makes them an extremely enticing candidate for somebody like us. And so the other thing is that, we give it to you guys for free. Like, we're building that out, number 1, for our sales team to use it. But number 2, I know there are people out there who have the desire, have the will. They just need some direction, and I was not gifted anything in life. I was physically gifted in some ways. I was able to, play college sports. But outside of that, we were extremely poor growing up. I didn't have any mentors to tell me what to do with my career or how to make money or how to, put together a long-standing career or what I should go into or anything like that. And so I hope that by giving back to people like you or somebody that maybe that wants to get into medical sales and doesn't have the training or the experience or the direction that they need, hopefully they can get that. Hopefully I can give that to them. It's a totally free program.